Hi, Bobby Rio here from MakeSmallTalkSexy.com. I'm with Rob Judge, who is from Start Being. He also writes over at TSB Magazine with us. Some of you might have saw the video I put out recently about rapport building, the rapport building blueprint, and I wanted to expand on some of it with Rob today. Now, Rob, you had actually published an article a little while back that I really liked on TSB about the shared element of rapport through pop culture. You want to just talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The title of that article was, I think it was something about generating superficial rapport. And that's just kind of a nerd name I gave to this idea that, people in pop culture offers people this really interesting thing in that everyone kind of shares a lot of the same experiences. I know for me, I was born in 1983, so I grew up watching, Full House, Family Matters, Saved by the Bell. And these are all funny things. These are shows that kind of form my idea of how I see the world, my perspective, when I was a little kid, and it's funny now. So, when I tell a girl, oh yeah, I'm trying to describe my dad to her, and I'm like, oh yeah, my dad's this kind of overweight white guy, but then if I'm like, no, my dad's the white Carl Winslow, that obviously, that clicks. Like, people understand what I'm talking about, and it's funny. And so, on a cold approach, and that's one thing about rapport, to be successful with a cold approach, every good guy that cold approaches girls, a guy who's good at cold approaching, he can very quickly make himself, he can relate himself to the girl, where the girl feels a connection with him, that she feels like that she already knows him. And the way that guy does that is by generating some kind of rapport. And I think by tapping into this almost like global memory bank that we all have of music, of TV shows, of movies, this is the way that you very, very quickly can generate a rapport between you and the girl that you're interacting with.
Yeah, definitely. Even things like I've used like cereals from when you're a kid, like Count Chocula and Captain Crunch references, or cartoons from Saturday morning, that kind of stuff. You're right. I think a lot of it has to do, like he's saying, is when you meet somebody, like you're just some random guy that the girl is seeing in the bar or on the street or wherever. But by pulling in these references, she's like, wait a minute, he is a human. He did grow up watching the same things as me.
Absolutely, and again, it goes back to the way that you see the world, because that's what you ultimately want the girl to see, is your perspective of the world, how you see things. That's what an artist does, but that's also what a guy who's very good with women does as well, because people can understand that guy. Again, when you approach a girl at a bar or on the street or whatever, you're just some random guy to her until you can prove otherwise. And if you can't prove otherwise pretty quickly, she's going to walk away because, again, you're just another guy. You're just another person on the street, coming up to her. So the way to do that, like you said, that you tap into these memories you have as a kid, and like both of you have this emotions about something as trivial as Tony the Tiger, stuff like that, ridiculous stuff that the girl understands and you understand, and it's a way for you to connect emotionally, in a lot of ways, and that's why I call it generating superficial rapport, because it's also very superficial. It's things that are trivial, that are pop culture, that aren't necessarily very deep topics, but they're funny and they're very easy to kind of just pull out on the fly.
Yeah, actually, last night, me and my friends were out, and there was some girl, and she was standing there like this, and my one friend goes, "Are you giving us the Care Bear stare?" And she's like, totally, she's like, I haven't even thought of that in so long, and just started the conversation right there on that one thing of some Saturday morning cartoon from 25 years ago. But
absolutely, and what's funny about that is that you could take a topic like that, like the Care Bears, or whatever the topic is, and then you can actually back up into how you perceive them, oh my god, the Care Bears, yeah, I remember I got this whatever Care Bear thing Christmas in 1986, it was awesome, whatever, but you can actually move beyond just the superficial topic of pop culture and actually relate it back to your life. So there's a lot of avenues that pop culture allows, how you see it, with first, your view of it, the first time that you saw whatever show or whatever pop culture thing you're talking about. So there are a lot of invisible threads that are hanging off of a pop culture topic.
Yeah, you talk about using the Care Bear example, move into how the first girl you ever had a crush on loved the Care Bears, and she was a wild girl, and now you like wild girls. Are you a wild girl? Easily bounce off of that. I thought when I read your article and it got wheels turning, I thought it was a great idea.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, cool.